So, today we're going on a bit of a journey, but our starting point, it's not really on any map. It's actually a line from a song, this faint echo from the past, that, believe it or not, leads to a pretty surprising truth about one of the most famous places on Earth. It all kicks off with a name, one that was whispered by sailors and sketched onto old, ancient maps, the Enchanted Isles. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a fairy tale, right? A land lost in the fog, hidden by the confusing currents of the Pacific, just waiting to be discovered. But, and here's the twist, the most famous person to ever visit these islands, the Galapagos, was of course Charles Darwin. And he saw something totally different. In his notes, he actually called them a civilized part of hell. So how can one place be both enchanted and a kind of hell? That's the contradiction that really gets this whole story started. Okay, so how do you even begin to unravel a contradiction that's almost 200 years old? Well, for the person at the heart of our story, it didn't start with a bunch of research. It started with something quiet, something personal, an echo they found inside a book. You see, this wasn't just some academic project. The connection was way deeper, deeply personal, what they call a quiet line in a family thread that actually linked their own history to Charles Darwin's. It was this distant echo, written in ink and time, that suddenly felt like a story that just had to be finished. And when a story feels that personal, you can't just leave it on the page, can you? The questions start bubbling up. What did Darwin really see? Was his description just born out of fear, maybe the hardship of this wild volcanic landscape? Or was it something else? To find out, there was really only one thing to do. You had to go and see for yourself. And so, the journey begins. A historical question turns into a real-world quest, literally following that enchanted line to see if the past could somehow make sense in the present. So our storyteller sets out, following this invisible line of curiosity across the ocean. The destination feels like the very edge of the world, a place where the planet's currents literally collide, the exact same place that once seemed so terrifying. So what happens when you finally arrive in this land of contradictions? Well, it's not the hell Darwin described, and it's not really the fairy tale from the sailor stories either. It's something much, much more raw and real. A world literally forged from fire, and just brimming with life. The very first thing you feel is the ground itself. It's not soft sand, it's this black, volcanic rock. You feel like you're walking on the very bones of the earth, in a landscape made of pure fire. And then there's this incredible silence. It just hangs in the air, broken only by the sound of waves crashing on that volcanic shore. It's like the forces of creation and destruction, fire and water, are locked in this constant, silent conversation. And just like that, poof, the modern world vanishes. There are no crowded streets, no deadlines, no clocks. You step into a much deeper, more ancient kind of rhythm. And it's in that quiet that you start to notice what's really there. The sound of the wind, the sight of wings against the sky, and these ancient signs of life all around you. It's a world that is just teeming with a totally different kind of energy, one that's wild and completely untamed. But you know, the most profound discovery of the whole journey wasn't the landscape. It was an encounter, a single moment that just collapsed time, connecting the present right back to the distant past, that sparked one of the biggest ideas in history. It was a meeting with a giant. I mean, can you imagine coming face to face with a giant tortoise? This creature isn't just an animal, it's like a living vessel of time. Its movements are so slow and deliberate, a physical link to a world that existed long before us. Scientists have a name for this feeling. They call it deep time. And as you're looking into its ancient eyes, you just can't help but wonder, did this same species watch Darwin walk these shores? Did they witness that moment when he first started to understand that life isn't fixed, but is constantly, quietly, beautifully changing? And right there, in that moment, the journey solves that initial contradiction. The expectation, based on Darwin's initial shock, was a place of hell and fear. But the reality? It's the complete opposite, a place of incredible life, constantly and beautifully unfolding for anyone patient enough to just stop and look. This total transformation of perspective, it really reveals the journey's ultimate lesson. It's not just about correcting some historical record. It's about the very nature of discovery itself, and how seeing things with your own eyes is the most powerful tool we have. And that leads to this huge realization.
The deepest truths, they aren't just written in old books or carved into stone. They're not in the names people give to places. Real truth is alive, it's dynamic. You find it in the direct experience of the world in every single living thing. That's the foundation of all science, right there.
So, in finding that truth, our narrator found something way more important than just an answer to a question. They found a sense of belonging. The Enchanted Isles stopped being a historical puzzle and became a place of real, personal connection. Because in the end, a journey like this reveals something profound, not just about a place, but about ourselves. Following that line from the past leads to this discovery of our own potential, a realization that our story isn't just about who we've been, but who we have the power to become if we just dare to see the world for ourselves.